Good morning, class. I am Teacher Aliona and I will be your teacher for today. So welcome once again in our Contemporary Arts in the Philippines class. Are you ready? I hope you are ready for our discussion for today. But before we proceed, let us play a game. Are you ready? Now, you are grouped into 4. Why 4? For each group, one among you can give the answer correctly and all of the members can receive a +2 points. In simple terms, the achievement of one student is the achievement of the whole group. Are you okay with that? Very good. I hope you were able to see your groupmates now. Our game for today is crossword puzzle. Here is the hint. I hope you are aware of this game. Are you ready? There will be 5 questions. You will have the opportunity to give your answer right after I read the questions. Did you get it, class? Very good. For our first question, these are works, picture, poem or design made through the use of imagination and creative skills. What is this, class? Your answer is art. Let us check that. Very good. Now let us proceed on number 2. These are art or practice of designing and constructing buildings. Any guess, class? Architecture. Let us check that if you are correct. Very good. And now let's proceed on number 3. It is an image or visual representation of an object. Any guess, class? Graphic. Let us check that. Correct. Now let us proceed on number 4. These are also called as polymers. Any guess? Plastic? Let us check that. Correct. So far, Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3 have equal points. Only Group 4 have no points. Catch up, guys. For the last question, these are using materials into something new or useful. What is your answer? Recycle? Let us check that. Very good. You got all the questions correctly. Congrats to each and everyone. Congratulations once again to all the winners. Next time on our quiz, you will have a chance to revive your scores. Are we clear? Now let us proceed on our class discussion based on the game earlier. What is your simple definition of art? Anyone from the group? Very good. Nice comprehension about the definition of art. So based on Oxford Dictionary, art is the expression or application of human creation and skills and also imagination. It is usually visual forms such as painting or sculpture. It is on producing works to be appreciated primarily for the beauty or emotional power. So, that is art. Now, let us proceed on architecture based on the game earlier. What is the definition of architecture again, class? Very good. So, architecture is both the process and the product of planning, designing, and constructing buildings and other physical structures. Aside from this, architecture is also the art and science of buildings and non-building structures. Did you get it, class? Correct. Now, let us proceed on allied arts. What is this allied arts? Allied arts are the decorative arts applied to building. So from the word allied, it is an alliance of all the forms of art, including the color, texture, the form, the pattern, the shapes, and many more. That is allied arts. Now let us proceed on the design. What is this design? It is the creation of a plan or convention for the construction of an object or a system. In simple terms, design is the blueprint that you use in order to come up with an outcome. Did you get it, class? Very good. Now let us proceed on the architecture under the Philippine contemporary arts. Number 1 is the folk architecture. What is this folk architecture? It is also known as local architecture. It is formed by the process of anonymous design, which later becomes traditional under the influence of various factors. The examples of the folk architecture are the village and townhouses, farm buildings, public buildings like the taverns, inns, schools, and community halls. So are you familiar with this establishment, class? This is the ancestral house of the first president of the Philippines. Now, who is this first president of the Philippines? He is Emilio Aguinaldo. This is Emilio Aguinaldo's ancestral house. Also, this is the place where the first flag of the Philippines was raised. Did you get it, class? Now, the second one is the Pambansang Bahay ng Pilipinas. What do you call that? The Bahay Kubo. In English, it is called the Nipa Hut. And the second one is the Bell Tower, or in common term, it is also used as a watch tower during the colonization era. So that is all about the folk architecture. Now let's proceed on the second one, which is the landscape architecture. What is this landscape architecture? Just like in the definition of architecture earlier, the architecture doesn't focus only on buildings and establishments, but also on non-building structures, just like landscapes. So in landscape architecture, the design of outdoor areas, just like the landmarks, structures to achieve environmental, social, behavioral, and aesthetic outcomes. Here are the examples of landscape architecture. These are the public gardens, therapeutic gardens, arboretums, public parks, playgrounds, golf courses, sports facilities, monuments, landscape art, zoos, and resorts. The most common and best example for landscape architecture is the one that is found in our locality, which is the So among all the given architectural types and kinds, which among do you want or to prefer to have when you have your own house someday? Is it a modern style house just like in the picture? Or a vernacular style or folk style just like here? A nipa hut style? Or do you want to have a house on wheels just like me who wants to travel all along? Or just the simple or common house style, which is the bungalow? Any idea on what style do you want your house will be in the future? Can you share something? Very good. So I like your style of house someday, and I hope you study well enough and also to earn enough money someday to achieve your dream house. Are we good, class? Yes. Now let us proceed now on the Filipino artists in the field of architecture, design, and allied arts. Number 1 is Pablo S. Antonio. Who is Pablo S. Antonio? He was known for his simple architectural designs consisting of clean lines and functional curves. He did not focus much on the aesthetics of his design but the strength of the architecture. So some of Pablo S. Antonio's works are the Far Eastern University Administration and Science Buildings, theaters like the Lyric Theater, Ideal Theater, and Galaxy Theater. So as you can see in the picture, Far Eastern University has strong foundations because that is one of the focus of Pablo S. Antonio. The second one is the Galaxy Theater. Pablo Antonio focuses on lines and curves. As you can see in the picture, those are straight lines, and also the curve style of the dome or the curve style of the building of the Galaxy Theater. Second one is Leandro V. Locsin. Who is Leandro V. Locsin? His architectural designs were original and modern with the touch of Filipino culture and arts, represented by the presence of traditional forms and patterns in his works. So one of his works is the Istana Nurul Iman. What is this Istana Nurul Iman? It is also called as the Palace of Religious Lights of Brunei, with a 200,000 square meter floor area. The design of the structure is a mixture of Islamic and Malay themes and modern lines. So as you can see in the picture, this is the Palace of Religious Lights or the Istana Nurul Iman. What is the Islamic style influence in here? The presence of the mosque. The second one is the Malay theme, which is represented by the boat used. Also, the half star-shaped roof that is present here, just like the cottages. So that is the work of Leandro V. Locsin. Now let's proceed on the third one, which is Juan F. Nakpil. Who is Juan F. Nakpil? He is the most prominent elements in his architectural designs were the strength, function, and aesthetics. His works were the reflection of Philippine traditional and cultural heritage. An example of his works are the Avenue Theater and Hotel Building, Quezon Institute Buildings, International Eucharistic Congress Altar, and the renovated Quiapo Church. So if you weren't able to see Quiapo Church in person, here is the structure and also the Quezon Institute Building. So these are the works of Juan F. Nakpil. Now let's proceed on the fourth one. So aside mostly from the previous Filipino artists, they are focused on the buildings and structures. We also have one which specializes in landscape architecture, and he is Ildefonso P. Santos. He was famous landscape architect known for landscaping plazas, gardens, hotels, playgrounds, commercial centers, housing projects, and parks. So that is Ildefonso P. Santos. So what are his works? Among his projects are the Laguna Caliraya Lake Resort, Loyola Memorial Park, Eternal Gardens Memorial Park, Tagaytay Highland Resort, and many more. So these are examples of the works of Ildefonso Santos. Also, this includes the monuments here. He designed that. Did you get it, class? Can you catch up with the discussion? Very good. Now let's proceed on the fifth one. He is Jose Maria V. Zaragoza. Now his architectural structure was a mixture of modern and traditional designs. Most of his works involve religious architectures just like the churches, convents, since he specializes in liturgical art and architecture in the International Institute of Liturgical Arts or ILIA in Rome. So Jose Maria Zaragoza's works include the National Shrine of Nuestra Señora del Santísimo Rosario, the Meralco Building, the Philippine Airlines Building, and he was one of the architects who designed the National Library. So here is an example or picture of the National Shrine of Nuestra Señora de Santísimo Rosario, and also the building of Meralco in Manila. Now let us have a recap. What are the 5 kinds of architecture again, class? The 5 kinds of architecture. Number 1, folk architecture. Very good. Second one, any idea what is the second one? Landscape architecture. Third one, vernacular architecture. Fourth one, sacred or religious architecture. And the last one, modern architecture. Good job, class. How about the another 5 Filipino artists in the field of architecture, design, and allied arts? Number 1, again, who are the Filipino artists under the field of architecture, design, and allied arts? Again, number 1, Pablo S. Antonio. Very good. Second one, Leandro V. Locsin. The third one, he specializes in landscape architecture, Ildefonso P. Santos. Very good. For the fourth one, Juan F. Napil. Very good. And the last one, Jose Maria V. Zaragoza. Good job, class. Now, I have a question for you. Why do we need to study architecture and allied arts under the Philippine Contemporary Arts? Any idea, class? Yes, you may share your idea. Very good. So as you have mentioned, it is a part of preservation of our culture. We have to identify and learn what are the different architectural buildings in our locality in order to preserve our own culture. So, aside from the preservation of our culture, it is presented, and I appreciate the efforts of the LGU of Vegan. Why? Because they always employ the culture that we have in their locality on the establishments that they make. For example, is the establishment of McDonald's. As you can see here, the brick roof represents the old houses, also with the windows. Were you able to observe that, class? Very good. So aside from that, on here on the right side, you can see here the bell tower like of the McDonald's, which represents the St. Paul Cathedral Church bell tower. And aside from that, also the street lights of the lights that you can see on McDonald's. This represents the lights that is present on Calle Crisologo. Were you able to observe that, class? Very good. Now let us proceed on graphic arts and plastic arts. Graphic arts covers a broad range of visual artistic expression, typically two-dimensional. So when we say two-dimensional, it has length and width. It is produced on a flat surface. So in graphic arts, it includes calligraphy, photography, painting, typography, computer graphics, and bindery. Now, what are the graphic design software? So I hope you are familiar with these softwares. Number 1 is the Adobe Dreamweaver. It is a tool that facilitates the creation of web page and dynamic internet content. Second one is the Photo Impact, a digital photograph editor, and the Adobe Design. It is a desktop publishing software used for layout and design manipulation. And last but not the least, the Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop is a bitmap graphics software including powerful graphics, editing tools, and provide a large variety of editing functionality. So aside from those softwares, I hope you are familiar with this simple mobile app software just like the Canva, Remini, PixArt, Visco, and Snapseed. Now let's proceed on plastic arts. Plastic arts are art forms which involve physical manipulation of plastic medium by molding or modeling such as sculpture or ceramics. So here are examples of plastic arts. They use recycled plastics just like the bottles, bottle caps, and many more. So who is the Filipino artist who transforms plastic and waste material into paintings? He is Gilbert Angeles. So as you can see in the picture, he incinerates plastic waste and put paints on it and turns it into an art form. Wow! His works are for international level. Now let us have a wrap up. Again, what is plastic arts? The modeling and sculpting of any plastic medium. Very good. How about what is graphic arts? Graphic arts again includes two-dimensional surfaces such as flat surfaces. And also it includes photography, calligraphy, typography, and bindery. Very good, class. Now let us watch a video and share your thoughts later on. Okay? Do you want to watch a video, class? That is nice to hear. Now let us watch it. This is entitled The Whale's Tale. Take note, you will share your insights later on, okay? Now, what are your insights from the video? Can you share something, class? Very good. How about the others? Do you want to share something? Very good. I like your analysis. So from the video, we can see the negative effect of improper waste disposal. Correct? And also, we have to take responsibility of our actions. Correct? And we have to realize that age doesn't have a requirement. Our responsibility in our environment doesn't require any age responsibilities. Why? For starting from a young age, we should be exposed on activities that helps our environment. Are we clear, class? Very good. Now, I think you are familiar with the hashtag Let the Earth Breathe, since it is trending on Facebook. So, may I present to you the Ecosia website or application. So, what is this Ecosia application? It is a website just like Google, wherein you are able to search any details of videos, pictures, and many more. You have, in order to generate income, you have to watch the ads or commercials. So this income that is generated from this commercial is used in order to fund the seedlings that will be used to plant trees. So here is the proof of their program. Before, this area is almost deforested, meaning a lot of forest areas, especially the tree areas, are depleted. But due to Ecosia supporting their program, after a year, it had made into a beautiful forest. So instead from deforestation, let's put it into reforestation. Now, are you willing to use that website, class? That is good to hear. Now, if you, in order to test if you really listen to our discussion, let us have a quiz. Are you ready, class? Let's proceed on the number 1. It is both the process and product of planning, designing, constructing buildings, and other physical structures. What is your answers? Architecture? Correct. Number 2. It is an architectural style that is designed based on local needs, availability of construction materials, and reflects local traditions. What is your answer? Vernacular architecture. Let us check that. Correct. Now for the number 3. His grandest work is the Istana Nurul Iman, or the Palace of Religious Light. What is your answer? Leandro V. Locsin. Correct. For the 4th one, it covers a broad range of visual artistic expression, typically two-dimensional, and it is produced on flat surfaces. What is your answer? Graphic design. Correct. Very good, class. And last but not the least, a Filipino artist who transforms plastic waste material into paintings. Who is this artist? What is your answer? Gilbert Angeles. Correct. Now, what is your favorite part of the lesson? You can share something. Oh, thank you that you appreciated our discussion for today. Now, here is your activity. Are you ready, class? For your activity?